My name is Kristina 𝗘mail. Welcome to Wellness and Weight Workshop. This is a live stream workshop, but I'm also recording it for those of you who want to watch it later, who couldn't make it today. And I encourage you to take notes. Obviously, if you're watching the recording, you can pause and write stuff down, or take breaks, or just watch half of it. The goal today is to give you a bunch of tools and resources to help relieve stress and focus on some good self-care every day during the week, especially the weekdays when we're the most busy, the most hectic, trying to get things done, working our jobs, taking care of our families, all the different roles and hats we wear. So doing something every day is the key to creating some better balance between work and recovery, and definitely gives you resilience when you're handling stress. So just a few things about this presentation. This is kind of my first one, so I may not be looking at right in the camera the whole time, because I have a screen up here, I have my presentation here, so just work with me, and I would love your feedback as well. And so the first question I have for you guys, because I do want it to be a little interactive, of course, I'd love to know what's really going on with you, is where are you from and why are you here? And if you are at home watching this on a recording, go ahead and answer those questions. Where are you from and why did you come to this workshop? My name is Kristina 𝗘mail, and I'm a certified personal trainer, group exercise instructor, and a health coach. I've been in the fitness industry for 13 years. I've been doing personal training for 13 years, and this is my second year of owning Grit Life Fitness, which is my own company. I do virtual, online personal training, in-person personal training. I also teach a virtual live stream class membership that has about 6 classes a week on a schedule. And I also do, I've gotten into coaching. I love coaching. It's basically all the other stuff outside of your, PT session, like sleep, hydration, self-care, stress relief, and nutrition, and working on getting you to where you want to be. I also specialize in terms of the fitness stuff. I specialize in running, strength training, especially strength training for women or anyone who is new to strength training. Love it, love it. TRX, kettlebells, and corrective exercise. All that stuff is fascinating to me. I love it. And yeah, I love what I do. I love my job, which is why I do it. It also keeps me healthy. And then the classes I teach on my live stream are cardio kickboxing, high intensity interval training, boot camp, Balletone, which is a ballet inspired dance class, core conditioning. I used to teach spinning when I was working in a gym, but I have not been teaching spinning online. So yeah, that is my kind of wheelhouse. You can't give anybody else anything if you don't fill yourself up first. And if you think of it on a daily basis, a weekly basis, every day we're pouring ourselves out. So taking care of yourself first, filling up your cup, whether it's coffee or water, that is really the goal here, is to get more of that. Practicing mindfulness has several benefits, including increased empathy and compassion, not just for others, but for yourself, improved immune functioning, increased happiness and optimism, improved sleep, we all need that, greater focus and concentration, and reduced anxiety and stress. A healthy body begins with a healthy mind, and a healthy mind begins with mindfulness. I love that. Self-care during your busy life. First thing, get moving. Doesn't have to be structured, just go for a walk. Unplug from media, huge source of anxiety and stress, and that comparison mentality that we get. Get off of social media, get off of the media, practice gratitude, call someone you love, someone you trust, so you can rant. Get dressed, do something creative, use your favorite mug or water bottle. You know, put things around you that you really like. Set yourself up for success. Get outside, set work hours and stick to them. All right, that's me for sure. Don't compare yourself to others. Be kind to your mind. Tips for dealing with stress. All right, hopefully maybe we're all sitting down in a chair right now, perhaps. So take a moment, pause, breathe, notice how you feel. Taking breaks from social media and pandemic-related information. This can be extremely overwhelming to your brain, and taking breaks and focusing on something positive, it's not going to fix all of these problems, but it's going to give you a more clear and calm mind. So it's not like these problems go away. It's just what we focus on. Beautiful. Take time to sleep and be physically active and do physical activity. Reach out and stay connected to friends and family. And then seek out help if feeling overwhelmed or unsafe. This last one is so good because I forget. I try to do everything on my own strength and my own power and my own will. And we have to remember we need each other. We need other people. And yeah, reach out. Positive coping skills. Take a deep breath and focus on the present. Recite a positive mantra. I am strong. It's a good one. Name the emotion you are feeling. Take a break from technology. Notice the redundancy here. Journal, pray, sing, stop. Stop and listen, and allow yourself to sit and feel discomfort. Being active and doing strength training, doing exercise, which leads to healthier eating, but exercise itself does not cause weight loss. And that is one big myth that we just want to blow out of the water right now. Doing cardio is not going to make you lose weight. Doing cardio is amazing, and you should definitely be doing some physical activity. But the cardio is going to, the work that you do taking care of your body physically, the relationship is that you eat better because you're already doing another healthy habit. Cardio itself does not lead to weight loss. There's no way you're gonna out-exercise or out-run or out-cycle like eating just a regular snack, okay? It's like there is no, the scale is completely out of balance there. So that's never gonna work. Change your focus to mindful eating. That's what I recommend. All right, I don't recommend any particular diet. The one that works best for you is the one that's going to work best for you. That is individual. And a lot of my clients, even people, we want people to tell us like, okay, you need to eat this way. This is how you need to eat exactly. Just tell, people just want to know, what should I eat? When should I eat? And unfortunately, that is not very helpful, because unless you're using that process to inform yourself and then you're creating your own eating habits beyond that. But really, it is a scientific research study into your own foods you like. A lot of it is culture and how you were brought up. So there's a lot of different things that come into how you eat. All right, so the first thing about mindful eating is it must be practiced. Okay, don't expect to just, oh, all of a sudden, like, wow, I'm so good at this. No, we have to practice. And this is called conscious competence. So this is when we are consciously aware that we're trying to become more competent in how we eat. And this takes effort. It does take effort. It takes practice. Intuitive eating is where you're listening to your body and using your senses and trying to distinguish physical hunger versus emotional hunger. My own relationship with food, a lot of it does have to do with this relationship between Am I eating because I'm hungry and I'm fueling my body well and nourishing my body well? Or am I eating because I'm feeling a terrible emotion and I want to feel good for a moment? I want that moment of pleasure, of satisfaction. And then the third thing about mindful eating is being able to eat to where you are satisfied but not full. So on like a scale from 1 to 10, like 1 being you're starving, 10 being you're over, like pretty overfull, you want to like stop around 6 or 7. Like you're not quite full, you know, like overfull. So allow yourself to feel a little bit hungry. You don't have to eat till you're like feeling super full. Savor the flavor. Okay, here are some really great tips to increase your pleasure of food, not overeating. So one thing is to eat a lot of colors, eat the rainbow. Second is balance your macronutrients. And on top of that, if you want to get even more specific, eat your protein and your fat first. So within a snack or a meal, you want all 3 macros to be present somewhere in whatever ratios, but eat your proteins and fat first because they make you more satiated. And then your carbs save for the end, because oftentimes, especially highly processed carbohydrates, they are designed to get us to eat more of them. So if you save them for the end, you're already feeling full, you're not gonna eat as much. Start with water, that's a great one. And use your herbs and spices. They don't have calories, but they actually have some really good nutrition in them. They have a lot of flavor, and you can play around with all that stuff. Make it fancy, make it fancy. Okay, so today many families, many households, many people, we are no longer sitting down at a table to eat, and we're eating on the go, we're eating standing up in our kitchen, we're eating in front of a screen, okay? If you want, and just pick one of these things. You don't, first of all, I want you to just, like, this is a lot of different things that you can try. Just choose one, but try to either get away from the screen when you're eating. I'm huge, I do this all the time, so I'm just like everybody else, right? We're all in the same boat together. It's so easy. Try to eat without a screen in front of you. Sit down at a table to eat. I love that. Like, make it an experience. Listen to music. Some of you are probably already doing some of these things, right? And don't eat straight out of the package. Right? Some of these are just common sense, but we forget, like we get busy, right? Take small bites. This is about eating slow. Chew 25 times. Eat with your non-dominant hand. These are just great little hacks, guys. Put your fork down in between bites. I love it. All right, we are gonna talk now about relaxation and stress relieving practices. So the number one thing that helps us relieve stress is deep breathing. It is amazing, and you have access to it 24/7. You don't need to go get anything to do this. This is why it's such a great technique. You only need to do this, I mean, you can do this whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, whenever you're feeling an anxiety attack coming on, you're feeling a lot of pressure. This is where you want to stop and breathe. And there's so much research supporting like the benefits of these deep breathing practices. There's tons out there. So we're gonna just do one right now. Just stay seated. We're gonna draw your elbows slightly back to open up the chest. Just relax your hands, maybe in your lap or on, if you have arms to your chair, put them on the arms to your chair. We're gonna take a deep breath in through the nose, and then hold that at the top of the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale out through the mouth. So we're pausing at the top of the breath. I love this. So inhale through the nose, hold here. Exhale. Focus on that exhale. One more time. Inhale. Hold it for 5, exhale. Deep breathing helps to relieve the shortness of breath by preventing air from getting trapped in your lungs, and it's helping you to breathe in more fresh air, helps you to feel more relaxed and centered. Let's practice. All right, so we're gonna get a little bit more active here. We're not gonna, I'm gonna stay seated for this one, but I do recommend a few other positions to do the deep belly breathing in. So number one is relaxed and seated, so feet flat on the floor, knees bent, sit all the way back in your chair, let the chair support you, and then just relax the shoulders, open that chest. The other three ways you can do this is to lie on your back with the legs up the wall. It's a very relaxing position. You want your tailbone to be on the floor. Obviously, you want to be on a towel or a blanket. Be a little comfortable. You can also lay on a foam roller. If you turn the foam roller the long way, use it like a bench. You put your tailbone on one end, your head at the other end, and then you just open up those arms. Or you can lay on the floor and put your legs up on a couch. All right, deep belly breathing is where we're gonna focus on the inhale and the exhale, but you're gonna put your hands on the belly. We're gonna inhale, fill the belly up, try to, and if your fingers are on the belly, you wanna separate those fingertips. And then exhale, I want you to deflate the belly, go ahead. Draw navel towards spine. Try to touch your fingertips. Good, 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Good, 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful, beautiful. Excellent. All right, this third one is not so much a deep breathing drill as it is a bringing you back into the present. It does take you out of anxiety. It does take you a little bit out of, you're just kind of being more of an observer versus being inside your own head and feeling overwhelmed. So I like this one. It's called Mindfulness. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we can try it right now. We're just gonna do it together. We're gonna take 3 slow, deep breaths. Good, 1 more. Good, so keep your body relaxed, feet flat on the floor if you're seated. And I want you to, now you're muted, but out loud, I want you to say these things. I want you just to look around and see, and name 5 things you can see. I'm gonna do the same thing. Curtains, fence, cup of coffee, light, poster. All right, number 2, we're going to 4 things you can hear. Go ahead, name them out loud. I can hear the birds. I can hear some music. I can hear myself breathing. And I hear my voice. All right, 3 things you can feel. So I actually want this to be a, not feel like emotion, but feel with your fingers. So you can move around a little bit, touch things, and just get a sense of that sensation of touch and feel. So I can feel the arms on my chair. I can feel the skin on my legs, and I can feel my pen. Now, if now for the next 2, taste and smell, and we're going down to, of course, less numbers. If you are not, you can also remember your favorite taste or your favorite smell. All right, so 2 things you can taste. So they can be your favorite taste. So like coffee, I'm drinking coffee right now. So coffee would be 1, and then maybe some dark chocolate. Obviously I don't have it right now. And then 1 thing you can smell. And again, if you can't smell anything, think of your favorite smell, or a good smell. All right, I can smell my hand. All right, finished? Now take 3 more slow, deep breaths. Awesome. Okay, great. All right, so here's a 4th breathing technique. I love this one. You can actually, if you are sitting at a table, if you have like a notebook or anything like that, use a notebook, and you can actually just draw a square. You can do this on a piece of paper too. You just draw a square, right? Now put your finger on the top, on one of the corners, and you're going to start. Now on the screen, it's that red star. So you're going to trace, so you can put your finger on the bottom right corner, right? As you trace with your finger up to the next corner, you're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now trace across the top and hold the breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do one practice and then we'll do it again. Then exhale down 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rest for 4, 3, 2. So let's try to combine this with the breathing technique and the tracing of the finger. Go ahead. We're going to inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest 4, 3, 2. One more time. Inhale 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. So the act of just adding that, technical, adding another sensation as you do a breathing drill is increases that mindfulness and awareness. Okay, 1-minute mindful exercises. So we're not going to do these, but these are 7 more different ways that you can just pause, take a moment, and okay, we may actually do these because they're some of them are fun, but you can pretend to yawn or get yourself to yawn and stretch out. Think of like a cat or a tiger, or how dogs stretch. All right, you can do this on the hour for 10 seconds. This is so great. These are cute. The second one, give yourself 3 big bear hugs. All right, give yourself some love. All right, third one, these are kind of silly, but they really work. Stroke your own hands. Just gently stroke your own hands. You have a lot of nerve endings in the fingertips. And actually these nerve endings are super helpful for a lot of different things, but you have all those sensations going right up to the central nervous system. That's their connection. So number 4 is mindfully eat a raisin. I also like doing this with Hershey Kiss. And you want it to be going back to all those eating tips. This is where you want to be super slow, like you're smelling it first, then you kind of lick it, and then maybe you take a small bite. Like you're just breaking it down super, super, super slow, kind of as a mindfulness exercise. Number 5, clench your fist as you inhale, and then exhale, breathe into your fingers as they stretch out. So inhale, exhale. And you can actually do this with the whole body. You can clench everything, especially if you're laying on your back on the floor. Number 6 is just meditation. And what I would probably link to that would be like, there's tons of really good apps now that you can download. A lot of them you can download the free version, and they have like 1-minute meditations or 5-minute meditations that are great. And then number 7 is mindful breathing for 1 minute. So we've already done a few of those things. All right, so now we're moving on to emotions. And what I love about, there's like 5 or 6 slides on this, breaking it down, really getting like, what is an emotion? super helpful stuff, at least for me when I first learned this. All right, so emotions. What are emotions? Emotions are simply vibrations in your body. Emotions come from our brains. When we practice, or we are the ones that increase or decrease our own emotions. And all of our emotions come from either conscious or unconscious thoughts. Again, going back to they are created in our brains. Many times we take away our own power by blaming someone else for how we feel. And I've done this, I mean, I grew up doing this, right? Like if someone takes something away from you, they did something bad to you, they made you feel bad. But it's really, we're the ones that are creating that experience in our own brain. And there's lots of great examples of how that is true. But we can talk more about that at another time. I just wanted to talk about just on the most basic level of emotion is a vibration in the body. And then the next part is the 4 options. This is how we typically respond to our emotions, our feelings. And I'm going to categorize this more for our negative emotions, because positive emotions, we probably don't have we might have trouble feeling our positive emotions, especially if we have a lot of guilt. But in general, this happens more with negative emotions. And again, send me a chat while we're talking about this if you have a question, or if you're like, oh yeah, totally, I can totally resonate with that. So this is the 4 ways we typically respond to our emotions. And the first 3 are typically not helping us cope or grow. But again, they happen a lot. So number 1 is we react to it. We're running with it, or we're acting it out, or we're fueling it. And the best example is, think of 2 people who are really angry at each other. Maybe like you're about to see 2 people fight. Like they're yelling at each other. Well, if one person just completely calmed down and didn't even respond to them, they weren't adding fuel to the fire, then that would not, like the reaction would be completely kind of deflated. All right, the second thing is we resist or fight against it, which will increase it when we resist or fight. So just refusing to acknowledge that you are feeling a certain way is a way that increases that emotion. We're essentially like fighting against it, which is actually brings up a lot of other emotion, negative emotion. Number 3, and some of these are kind of similar, but number 3 is we avoid it. So as soon as we start to feel like lonely or sad, we just ignore it. We pretend it's not there. This is like 100% probably what I do the most with my negative emotions. Listen, I'm 40 years old and I'm still like working on all this stuff. But definitely this is where like buffering would be coming in. Like we distract ourselves with something to ignore how we really feel. And we do this with TV, internet, social media, food, drugs, overworking. That's a good one for for us. But also food, going back to that food. This is where a lot of overeaters, it's usually not the root cause or the root issues with overeating usually have nothing to do with food itself. It has more to do with what are we using food for, right? If it's not for fuel, like if we're listening to our bodies and we're finishing when we're full or a little bit before we're full, that would, we wouldn't really be in this situation, it wouldn't be. But a lot of times we're going to food to get that instant pleasure, which feels great, there's nothing wrong. Our brains are designed to do that. But at this point, it's working against us, right? And number 4 is probably the healthiest way to respond to emotion, is to actively allow it, which is very empowering, which means if you're taking ownership of that feeling, you're able to name it, And then you can accept it in that moment, which doesn't mean you are giving in or giving up. It just requires your own willingness to observe. All right, so today, how are you feeling? So just check in with yourself right now. How are you feeling in general? And this is where I have a specific question. Or what would you say are your top 3 emotions that you feel on a daily basis? So if you had and you can write this down, of course, or send it in the chat. But what are the 3 emotions you feel on a daily basis? And then my second question is, what are the 3 emotions you want to be feeling on a daily basis? And I'm gonna share mine with you since everyone else is muted. I'm just gonna share mine. So I would say right now, I am feeling on a daily basis a little bit hectic. I'm feeling determined, and I'm feeling motivated, or I guess thankful or grateful. So I guess those are 4 things, but how would I like to feel? Rather than feeling hectic, I'd like to just feel determined and motivated, and then also grateful. The feeling of busy, overwhelmed, hecticness doesn't usually help me. It actually feels quite draining to feel hectic and overwhelmed. All right, feelings check-in. When you feel overwhelmed, that's when you need to take a step back. When you feel stressed, that is when you want to focus on relaxing, self-care. When you're feeling anxious, this is where you want to be practicing your good coping skills. And I say good coping skills because there's plenty of bad ones out there. We just talked about a few with like food and alcohol and drugs, overworking. When you feel sad, that's when you need to be loving to yourself. When you're feeling angry, that's when you need to find a positive outlet. When you're feeling drained, that's when you want to rest and recharge. When you're feeling broken, that's when you need to give yourself compassion. And when you're feeling upset, this is when you need to take time for yourself. When you feel alone, that's when you need to reach out. Signs that you need some mindfulness downtime. So going back to that empty cup, full cup, when you are getting to a point physically where you are crying, you have a lot of muscle tightness, you're getting shortness of breath, this is all like anxiety right here. Nauseous or stomach aches, sweating or trembling. Emotional signals, you're feeling irritable, frustrated, sad or angry, you're tired, lack of enjoyment in typical enjoyed activities, difficulty focusing, feeling overwhelmed, feeling more emotional than usual, snappy or short-tempered with people. Now I'm just gonna say a little side note, if you're a female, we go through this every month, don't we? We have a cycle. And these things are definitely more heightened at certain times of the month. And that's when we do need to give ourselves some mindfulness downtime. We really do need to give ourselves that just stepping back, allowing ourselves to maybe be alone and just take care of ourselves, right? If you can, like I said, you can do it with just the breathing. All right, and I just thought this was helpful. I'm just throwing this in here. I'm not gonna do an example with you, but I really, going back to these this is just a really nice way to write down exactly how you're feeling, keeping it simple, and be able to communicate that to someone else. And I think in just what we're experiencing in today's world, like I remember learning this in high school when we were learning mediation between two people who are having a conflict. This is one of these I statements, super powerful to communicate how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. And just being able to listen to someone saying that can be really, really helpful. And when you're open to that, to receiving how they're feeling, you don't have to agree, but just being able to hear that and listen. And then also being able to communicate that yourself if you're upset, or obviously it's usually more in conflict that we have trouble doing this. So fill in the blanks. All right, I also starred this one. This one was a game changer for me, especially when you get into these states of overwhelm. And if you're up in these high levels of stress, like chronic stress all the time, so many things can like tip you over and like just get you even more overwhelmed and more like out of control. So remembering what we can control and what we can't control, for me was just, like I said, a game changer. So what can we control? We can control basically ourselves, how we're feeling, what we're thinking about, what we're doing with our time, what fun things we do, how much time we spend on social media or watching the news. I already said that. You can control your thoughts about yourself. You can control what you eat. Yes, you can. And you can and you control who you spend time with. And we want to remember, I will focus my energy on the things I can control. What you can't control is other people. And this is where we can run into some problems, because we want to. Like, I absolutely want people to do what I want them to do. But we have to remember that we can't control other people. Maybe if we're like, a parent of young children, this might not apply 100%, because of course we do set boundaries for our children and rules and guidelines, and we do want to be an authority for our children. But in terms of other adults, they're allowed to do and think whatever they want. It's a tough one though to swallow sometimes. What I can't control is the situation in the world. I can't control or predict what will happen in the future. I can't control how long the present situation will last. This is very specific to where we are right now in the world. You also can't control other people's thoughts about you, about me. And I can't control if other people get sick. So like, I will focus my energy on the things I can control, and I will let go of the things I cannot control. That last one was like just more for like this past year, Okay, so moving on, we have a few more slides here. We have about 15 minutes left. We are gonna get up and do a little bit of work. I don't know if you notice that chair behind me. We're gonna do some little chair stretches. But one of the best things I've been coming across, and I do have a journal myself, it is actually pink, just like the one on the slide. But I use my journal I write, I pray, I write down my prayers, I write down maybe Bible verses, but really journaling, and using that to write down what you're thankful for and grateful for is a really strong and powerful tool. It increases positivity, it improves your self-esteem, it helps you sleep better, makes you happier, and helps reduce stress. And specifically doing this at night before you go to bed, going to sleep after thinking and writing things down are very, very powerful. It's a very powerful practice. And it really does help with all those things. Especially right before you go to bed at night, getting off your screens. Nice. Again, I'm preaching to myself as much as to you guys, It's like the preaching to the choir here. All right, here are some other good little lists, self-care or mental health check-in, and this is daily. All right, I drank enough water, I got 7 to 8 hours of sleep, ate a good healthy meal or meals. I took my medication if applicable, or for me, I would put, vitamins if you're taking vitamins or supplements. And last one, I showed my self-compassion. Let us not forget that we want to be showing love to ourselves. And this can also make the biggest difference when it comes to weight loss. I've been training for 13 years. The biggest attitude I see with my clients towards weight loss, and I mean, obviously there's a spectrum here, is first of all, they feel a lot of guilt and they feel very defeated when they've gained weight, right? We just feel, we might feel kind of shitty, but we're blaming ourselves, right? We're just putting all of that pressure and guilt on ourselves, which makes weight loss quite stressful. And so if you approach weight loss that way, it really is a ticking time bomb, and you probably only have so much willpower and with that sort of attitude. So what I love and my approach to weight loss is, can I take better care of myself? If I approach it in that way, there's more self-love, there's more self-compassion. I'm not beating myself up if I, fall off the wagon, which is, literally a completely made up concept. We're never falling off a wagon. Right? There's this all or nothing mentality is often working against us. But being able to approach, eating better, taking better care of yourself as a loving thing versus, oh, I gotta whip myself into shape and I've gotta, really be restrictive and hard on myself in order to have this, weight loss. I don't know, has it worked for you? Let me know in the chat. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. So one of the other big ways to actually reduce stress in your life is to insert daily morning and evening routines. This one is also a big, makes a huge difference. And this is my morning routine right here. Look it's so simple. I don't always go for a walk. So, the walk might be 10 minutes to 30 minutes, but these are just little activities. It's just, I do them in the same order every morning, every day. The self-discipline and getting into a routine it does something amazing for your brain and your body. It really builds your confidence. It gives you a lot of self-efficacy, which is also something you see when you do consistent strength training, consistent exercise. It builds your self-esteem. And just being structured and ordered like that, and something very simple, game changer. And a lot of times I see parents doing this with their children, but the parents aren't doing this with themselves. And that is where we need to take a look. Yes, children need structure and routine, but so do we. So, nice. Okay, physical stress busters. All right, first of all, I love exercise. I like being physical. These are just some options if you are similar or you want to get into this. And I would just pick one and get good at it. Some of these are definitely skills that you need to practice to get good at. But look at 5-10 minute doses, okay? These make a huge difference because of our brain. When we are moving and active, pumping that blood, the oxygen is getting up into that brain. It does release some of those good hormones. It is great for boosting our mood, giving us energy. And a lot of these things, we can get those little boosts without being overly intense. All right, so jumping rope is a great one. Definitely a skill, definitely something you need to practice, which I've taken workshops on it. So it's a good one. You can, honestly, you can just start practicing, but there is some skill to it. Go for a jog or a fast walk, again, just 10 minutes. Mini circuit routines, I have some of these inserted into our presentation, but we have 10 minutes left, so I don't know if we'll get to them. But yeah, just 3 exercises, 3 times in a row, about 40 seconds or 10 to 15 reps each. That's 10 minutes right there. Gets you moving. Boxing, great stress reliever. Definitely, boxing is such a cool, for physical activity, it's really cool. For the sport and competition of it, I'm not a huge fan just because of the head injury, sort of, like what it can do to your brain if you get punched in the head. But just boxing, like punching something else, great. Obviously not someone in their head. It's a safe way to get some stress out. Rebounding is a fitness trampoline. It's a mini fitness trampoline where you're jumping. This one is really cool because you have your lymphatic system is one of your drainage systems in your body. It's amazing, but it doesn't have like an engine or a motor. There is nothing pumping your lymphatic system. So movement is what does it. Movement actually is what drains your lymph nodes and gets your lymph nodes working well. So that is that's a really, really good one. And I have a rebounder, which is why I'm bringing it. Okay, so we're gonna finish with some stretches, and then we just have a few more slides. So these should be more relaxing than hard effort. If you don't have the range of motion to do these, then don't do them. Just do the range of motion you can do. Do not overstretch to the point of pain or discomfort. And let's go through them. So I didn't number them, but I'm gonna start at the top and just work to the right, and then we'll do the bottom row, work to the right, starting at the left. All right. Oh, you know what? Actually, I am going to stop sharing. Okay, so we'll come back to this in just a second. All right, so first of all, you need a chair that doesn't slide like my chair. Okay, so I'm using like a sturdy chair, which is great. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is just sit on your chair. I prefer, like, ideally you want a chair where the knees are 90 degrees. We're just gonna reach up over the head, intertwine those fingers, and lift up, stretching from the tailbone to the tip of the head. Taking some deep breaths, bringing the arm down, picking up that right knee, and hugging it up in towards your chest. It's also a good one to maybe move the ankle around. Good, switch sides. So notice we're not using the back of the chair. We're gonna stay a little bit more active in our seated position. Good, third one, we're going to see if we can just start to fold over our legs and hang down, drop the head. You don't need to put any weight on the legs. All right, I mean, just kind of like floppy like a rag doll. This is like in the airplane when you feel nauseous. This is what they tell you to do. Good, take a deep breath. Then slowly, slowly, slowly round up. And now we're gonna stand up. So the rest are standing, using the chair as a prop. So we're not gonna actually sit back on the chair. You don't have to sit all the way down on the chair. You can if you want. But we're gonna reach up and just bend the knees, sit back. So that can be your depth right there. Just a little knee bend. Keep the feet flat on the floor. You can go all the way down if you like. Stand up tall at the top. Good. And rest there. So it's more movement based versus holding a stretch. So I would do these for, you know, like 40 seconds. All right, next one is hands on the front of that chair. Walk your feet back, and we're just gonna hinge the hips back, keep the weight in the feet, relax the head. So you feel this in that lower back, you feel this in the back of your legs, you can soften your knees. All right, the other way you can do it, same exact thing, just put a little bit of weight on the back of your chair. Don't tip your chair over though. Good, relax the head in between the arms. Oh, this one feels amazing. So I would hold these under a minute, 40 to 60 seconds. Maybe you wiggle your tailbone a little bit. All right, next one, again, you wanna make sure when you push down in the chair, you're pushing down, is just step forward with one leg, step back with the other. So we're in a split stance. We're gonna support it by just pressing down into the chair a little bit. So long back leg. Now, if you're actually getting a little stretch in the back of that leg, you can lift and lower your heel by shifting on the balls of the foot, the ball of the foot. Good. Step forward, step back. So just play around with these. Play around with these. This is a nice one. Again, you could, if you want to stay a little bit more upright, maybe you're a bit tighter, maybe you know, use the back of the chair. Very nice. All right, step on up. Now this one we will use the back of the chair. You need a little bit of space, and you're gonna push down. And again, if your chair is a little bit lighter, like mine's pretty light, make sure you're just using it for balance and you're not pushing all your weight into it. You're gonna walk back, hinge the hips again, but this time you're gonna reach one leg back and then put weight into that balancing leg. Good, and then switch sides. Reach your heel back. When you balance on that leg, you can keep that knee a little bit bent. You're just supporting the upper body here. Cool, now the final one, this is a really nice one. We're gonna use the seat. You're gonna put your right leg is gonna point towards the front right leg. All right, my other leg is gonna be pointing towards you guys. So I'm gonna switch it. My left leg is pointing like right next to the chair. My right leg is perpendicular to the chair in terms of direction. Then I'm gonna put my right hand on it. I'm gonna push over into that right hip. So, my left hand is on the chair, my left foot is pointing towards the chair. And I'm just gonna reach up. It's kind of a triangle pose, windmill pose. It feels kind of really good. So I'm stacking my wrists and shoulders and making a big up, like a big one. I can look up at that top hand. Feel the stretch here. Also might feel it kind of through the back of that right leg. And then I'm also getting a stretch here. Okay, so come on down. Just put your right hand, right foot, and then point that other foot perpendicular. Perpendicular. And then try the same thing. So I just obviously have my back to you guys, so that's okay. Feels amazing. All right, who has a desk job? Who could do that? Maybe you choose 2 or 3 of your favorite stretches to do every 30 minutes or every hour. And I really want to encourage you to be empowered. Like, do this with your coworkers. Break up a Zoom meeting and tell people, hey, we need to move. This is ridiculous. If you have a good rapport with your workplace, I highly encourage you to become like a leader of getting people to be a little bit more active, okay? And that's actually one of the biggest things I see with a lot of my clients is just depending on their relationship they have with their company. These things are great. I mean, a lot of times you're sitting in a Zoom meeting and you don't feel like you can even get up and go to the bathroom. So that's not a good, just do it. Just go to the bathroom. I need to get up and go to the bathroom. I've done the same thing. All right, so here are the chair exercises. We're not going to be doing these. Again, I can send them to you, but again, I chose 3 to 4 exercises. You can do 10 reps, you can do 20 reps. These are pretty simple movements, like kind of warm-up movements, but again, it gets everything pumping. I just encourage you to invest in your well-being. Where are you at right now in your life? What stage are you at? Maybe, you know, like I said, you at the beginning, you told me where you were from, why you were here, but what are you doing? Like, what's your job? What is like, what are you investing in, and what are your priorities right now? It might be your family, it might be, you know, raising your kids, it might be your relationships, and of course for many of us it's our jobs and working. For some of us it's retirement and what to do in retirement. So really taking that time to think about what is your trajectory, I'm trying to say that word right, trajectory, and what is going to give you the best outcome for your life? Like, what's going to make you happy and healthy? Sometimes the things that make us happy and healthy do require a little bit of work and an investment and some discomfort. Those are not bad things. In order for us to grow, we do need to become a little bit uncomfortable, but on purpose. A lot of times we're uncomfortable because we're choosing to stay in a place that we don't want to be, and that's uncomfortable for us. Okay, so start working with a registered dietitian, a personal trainer, a coach. It could be a life coach, a weight loss coach. I do coaching. Obviously, I do more like for kind of health and wellness. Obviously, do other therapies. Work with a massage therapist. Work with other muscle therapies, acupuncture, chiropractor. There's tons of other different modalities. They all have a benefit depending on specifically what your issue is. And that's the reason why there are so many, okay? It's not a one solution type of therapy, right? Sometimes you have to really investigate and see what works best for you. And it might depend on the time in your life or what the cause is. And the other therapy I wrote, NKT. NKT stands for neurokinetic therapy, and that is a muscle therapy that is used. I did a little bit of training with them like 5 or 6 years ago, learned about it, but I never got certified. But I used a lot of that knowledge, what I learned in those workshops, that really helped inform me with my clients. And so the neurokinetic, you know, therapy is that obviously our brains are connected to our central nervous, the central nervous system, or the motor control unit of our brain connects to all of our muscles. And so if we can figure out where, like if you have chronic pain or injuries, if we can figure out where that disconnection is coming from and make the proper relationships between what's going on in the body, then that's actually a way to heal or get better from chronic pain. So it's a really cool therapy. I really like it. I see a therapist. I try to go once a month. All right, and then other things that you can do for free. You don't need any money to invest. You just need time, a little bit of time, and it doesn't take a lot of time. Is grounding. So grounding is actually I don't know if it's a movement, but it's a way to, it does have some scientific research done on it, but it's not really like a big scientific thing, but it does, people do say it works. It's just getting outside barefoot on the ground. It's the ground to skin connection that we can have with the earth. And they say like 15 minutes a day tends to reduce inflammation in the body, helps with stress, gives you a sense of well-being. All right, you know, I haven't really tried that one all that much, but obviously I like being outside, so it's a good one. Visit blue spaces. This could be ocean. These are oceans, bodies of water. Really good for you. Go for a hike, go for a walk, get out into the forest, join a club or a social group. It could be a walking club, a running club, a knitting club, some sort of skill-based club, maybe a lifting club. Try something new that scares you or that you might fail at. Build friendships. So those are all free. All right, here's some resources. Listen to positive podcasts. The ones I listen to is the Life Coach School podcast. I also listen to the Mind Pump podcast. They recently just did a really good one, which super applicable, is about food, the food industry and how they design food to be eaten, obviously overconsumed. So stop blaming yourself for not being able to only eat like one cookie. They're designing food to be eaten that way, and our brains are wired to eat that way. So you have to cut yourself some slack. It's a great podcast. Just look up Mind Pump. They also do their podcasts. They video them on YouTube as well. Jonathan Ross, he is a fitness professional. He has a great blog. He came from a background of being severely overweight, obese, and he lost that weight, and he's just amazing. He has a really cool, he's just very compassionate and empathetic towards people on their fitness journeys, especially people who don't like to exercise. He is trying to get those people. So he's a great one. He has really good stuff on his blog. Other things that can really help is understanding kind of the stresses that are out there in the environment, not just emotional stresses or stresses that we think are stresses, which are. There's a ton of other things that affect our health. Red light therapy is a recovery tool. It actually helps your body recover better from workouts. So a lot of professional people use it, like fitness professionals. And then blue light blockers. Any screen that we look at is emitting certain light, and the blue light blockers actually are helpful because if you wear them before you go to bed, as long as you're not looking at a screen 2 hours before you go to bed, it doesn't affect your sleep. But if you are looking at a screen and you're not blocking that light, it affects your melatonin, and it actually can cause sleep problems. So these are all, other resources that can really help. Here's some of those apps I was talking about for meditation and relaxation. There's the Simple Habit. There's one called Calm. Yeah, it's right there. And then there's the Headspace app. And if you know more, just let me know. And that is it. We are done. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kristina 𝗘mail Me.